A New Jersey mother of four is accusing United Airlines of humiliating her and her family on a recent flight from the Dominican Republic to Newark, New Jersey. Elit Kirschenbaum says a flight attendant refused to allow her 3-year-old daughter, who has special needs, to sit on her lap. Elaine Quijano spoke with her and her husband for an interview you'll see only on CBS This Morning. Elaine, good morning.
Good morning. Elit Kirschenbaum and her family had traveled down to the Dominican Republic to celebrate her father-in-law's 75th birthday. It was a fun-filled tropical vacation until, they say, they boarded their return flight home earlier this week.
My little baby is sitting there on my lap, not hurting a fly. She can't walk by herself. She can't sit by herself. And here is this woman who just is standing behind the law without putting any humanity into the situation. It was really heartbreaking.
Elit Kirschenbaum sat her 3-year-old daughter Ivy on her lap for their United Airlines flight home, as she's done many times before. Ivy suffered a stroke in the womb, and even though a seat had been purchased for her, she couldn't sit upright in that seat on her own.
The flight attendants were passing back and forth. They offered us drinks. They, smiled, said hello to Ivy, to my son, and everything seemed fine until a fourth agent approached us and told me that I needed to place Ivy in her own seat.
The flight attendant cited an FAA regulation that requires everyone over the age of 24 months to sit in his or her own seat. At one point, she said something to you that really got to you in particular.
She told us that we had to make her sit. I said to her, I would give my left arm to make her sit. Of course I want to have her sit, but she just can't do it.
Dad, I think you put down Jared.
The pilot ended up intervening, and after an hour delay, the flight took off. Ivy was strapped in, laying across the laps of her father, Jeff, and another relative for takeoff and landing.
It took an hour of arguing, embarrassment, screaming, crying to come up with such a simple plan, and which didn't even seem any different than actually sitting on our lap.
The story sparked outrage on both sides after Elit shared her ordeal online with the hashtag #UnitedWithIvy. In a statement, United Airlines said flight attendants are required by law to adhere to the safety regulations. As we did in this case, we will always try to work with customers on seating arrangements in the event of any special needs. In Ivy's case, FAA guidelines recommend an FAA-approved child safety seat, something Elit was not aware of until her flight. What do you say to that in fact, there is a rule because it's a safety issue?
We never knew the rule. We had put her on our laps for the past 3+ years.
Minutes before our interview, a United Airlines representative called Elit. So tell me about the phone call.
She was incredibly compassionate. She was incredibly apologetic.
Part of what we hope that comes out of this is that United does a better job of explaining to people what the rules are if you have a special needs child.
I try to teach my children that when they make a mistake, that they need to own it, they need to apologize for it, they need to learn from it, and they need to move on. And that is all I wanted from United as well.
The Kirschenbaums say they are not looking for a refund or revenge. In fact, next month their whole family is flying on United Airlines to Mexico. This time they say they'll be fully prepared with an FAA-approved car seat for Ivy. Vanita?
It really is it's a story that everyone can connect with.
Absolutely, yeah. And there needs to be more understanding and compassion for people with special needs child about helping them out in situations like this and others.